So next up is Evan Engram, and if you're seeing this, you probably already saw the Will Hernandez video. If not, go check that out. Would have been the last one I uploaded. I recorded these back to back, so let's just get straight into it. Evan Engram actually had the same length of interview that Hernandez did, but kind of talked about less in terms of variation of topics and whatnot, which is why you're going to see less of the visual quotes pop up, and definitely also why the article on Giants.com is shorter. So the first thing we're going to go over is talking about how his offseason was so far. He says, "I feel great. I've had a very blessed offseason. I've been working my butt off in rehab and getting back. Right now, I'm just going out and doing everything I can for the team and what practice is with the trainers. I'm not really worried about what all of the people are saying. I can only control what's in front of me each and every day. That's coming in, working hard during the training camp, and learning this offense and being a good teammate and a good leader." And this is a type of mindset that we're not only seeing with Engram, but a good amount of the team as well. And the other player interviews and whatnot, a very much a common message amongst most of them, if not all of them, is you can only control what's in front of you, and don't worry about the things that you can't control. It seems to be a message, things are just out of your hands, just completely, you do not have a chance of reaching them, right? It seems to be a consistent and actually really good message that Joe Judge is putting out to these guys right now, because that is a message that Joe Judge himself expressed in his interview. I think it was earlier last week, talking about there's only so many things that they can do, and they're not worrying about what they can't control because that's going to sidetrack them. Of course, in his case, he was talking about how the pandemic is going to affect the season, whether or not there's going to be a season, and the short time they have to prepare for everything. In Evan Engram's case, he's taking it and applying it to his own just health and history, of course, his injury history and whatnot. And I'm glad to see that this mindset is really carrying over and actually touching the minds of more than just one or two players on the team. It seems to be affecting a lot of people, and of course it's affecting the starters, the main guys, the stars of the team. These guys are considered stars of the team for a reason. It's definitely something very healthy that Evan Engram is going to have if he wants to have any type of success. You can't be distracted and you can't be sidetracked by thinking about your injury all the time. So I'm definitely glad to see that. The next quote is him talking about how he had to shift from training and rehabbing at the Giants facility, of course, when the coronavirus pandemic really got into full swing. He says it was an adjustment, just being comfortable up here with our facilities and our trainers, and then everything going south and shutting down. Our training staff did a good job of making connections where I was at. I was in Atlanta. I got set up with a rehab facility not too far from my house, so I was able to kind of pick back up. They were able to pick up all the details that I needed, things that I needed, and were able to just keep things in motion. We definitely had to make some adjustments, but our training staff here did a great job helping me stay on track. And this is definitely something I gotta say, I'm not really that excited for Evan Engram as I was in previous years, but this is the one thing more than anything that intrigues me and that gets my blood pumping when I think about Evan Engram, is the fact that despite the offseason has been the same length as other off seasons in the past, because the season is still going to start on time, Evan Engram's offseason has actually been longer. Evan Engram's rehab has been longer than he's ever had before. This year, more than any year, this offseason in particular, he spent more time actually rehabbing and focusing on getting healthier and focusing on using his, new body, so to speak, in terms of recovering from the injury and how his bones and muscles have recovered from the injury. He spent a lot more time doing that this particular year than he ever has before, because he wasn't at the Giants facility. Like I said, he was rehabbing at Giants facility, and then when the pandemic was in full swing, he was down in Atlanta for God knows how long. He didn't come back up to the Giants facility up until last week, or was it 2 weeks ago when the Giants players reported. So he had about an extra month or two of non-football activity because OTAs and whatnot, and because of the mini camps, those did not take place. He had kind of an extra month or two of rehab, and honestly, that could do nothing but help Evan Engram. And I'm not saying he's going to be healthier or anything, but I'll be glad to see the results, because it's definitely going to have a positive effect on him, spending a lot more time rehabbing now more than ever. And here is Engram on that rehab. He said, "I had my mind set. I had a very strong, very aggressive rehab. Each and every day I was trying to find ways to get better. Right now I am blessed to be out there running around with my teammates. I am having fun running around, catching the ball, and learning offense and getting ready for this new season." Listen, he better be having fun with it, because this is an offense that made Jason Witten, who's in terms of athletic ability was one of the worst tight ends ever, and made him into one of the best tight ends ever because of his production, what he did end up doing on the field, and the impact he had for the Dallas Cowboys. So you take somebody like Evan Engram, who's infinitely better athletically than Jason Witten. And you know, just simple math here, if he can stay healthy, he should be infinitely better than Jason Witten was. Of course, we all know that's not how it's gonna happen, but for him to be having fun in this offseason, I don't know if I've ever heard him say that before. Now, of course, he did have success before he got injured last year in the offense last year, and I'm sure he was having fun then, but in terms of preparing for it and learning something new, the fact that he's having fun and it's not a drag and it's not exactly something that's weighing down on his mind because of circumstances, that's really, really good to hear. And in addition to playing with that offense, a coach that I think a lot of people forget about, the tight ends coach Freddie Kitchen, who, of course, as we all know, was a bad head coach with the Cleveland Browns, but a pretty good offensive coordinator, and once again, a pretty good tight ends coach back in the day, because he was the one that coached Witten. This is what he had to say: "I'm just showing up to work each and every day, diving into the offense, diving into film work to help learn the scheme, learn things. You see the impact this has. You see the greatness in Jason Witten, the attention to detail he had, and the success in each offense he had. I'm just trying to do my best to learn as much as possible and to pick up the offense as quick as possible." You know, in terms of, you know, both learning the new offense, and he's been working directly with Kitchens, of course, Coach Kitchens, so that's great to hear as well. And now listen, I will say this: if Evan Engram can actually stay healthy for a majority of the season, because I don't know if it's possible for him to stay healthy for the full 16 games, but if we could just get like 12 games out of Evan Engram, 10 to 12 games out of Evan Engram, he's going to be an absolute superstar in this offense, because it's built around him passing wise. Of course, we all know it's run first, and the main feature is going to be Saquon Barkley, but when it comes to the passing game, it's the tight end position that's going to be the one in the spotlight and the one that's going to be the #1 target, and everything's set up very perfectly for him because he's hooked up with both Jason Garrett, the mind behind it, and Freddie Kitchens, a really, really good tight ends coach that coached the tight end that was featured in it, Jason Witten. So I'm glad to see that he's taking to it. I'm glad to see that he's very focused on learning it. It all comes down into whether or not he'll actually be able to put it to use. So that's the quotes for Evan Engram. Of course, I'm going to put this in its own separate video as well. Looks like I might be banging out 3 videos here. Leave your comments down below, and I'm just going to get straight to recording the Marcus Golden one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll catch y'all in the next one.